Also, before the video starts, please just subscribe. It's so easy. Just do it. You don't even have to turn your notifications on. Just subscribe, please. What is up, Rizzlers? I am finally back after like a week. I'm sorry not posting. School is annoying. I'm going to be showing you 50 editor tips in Grab VR. A lot of people have done editor tips videos, but they always put like 11 and at most like 20. And I thought, let's do 50. It was going to be 100, but you know, that's quite a lot. Anyways, I'm going to be showing you these 50 tips. So let's just get into it. Alright, for the first why am I still on the camera? Alright, for the first editor tip, we have how to make perfect tiles. Now, if you try to make tiles normally, and you do like white and black or whatever, then a lot of the times it'll do this weird thing where it to avoid that, you have to actually use your position snap. You want to put your position snap to about like 0.125 meters. Once you put it to 0.125, you can take your block and then touch all the corners, all of these blue squares, and make sure it doesn't move. If it moves, then you just corrected it. Now, once you corrected all the blue squares, you want to push it down maybe a little bit. Oh, never mind. Once you got all the blue squares like pushed down, then you just want to copy it and then turn that black, turn that white, and boom. Now they don't make a weird glitchy thing, so you can just copy that and then copy this side and then turn around and then boom, you have tiles. Now the second tip is how to make your mountains look better. Now this mountain doesn't look too bad, but it could always be better. So if you add this moss right here onto the mountain, it'll add more detail and it'll just look better overall. I mean, that doesn't look good, but adding moss to your mountain makes a huge difference. Trust me. Anyways, let's get on to the third tip. In the third tip, we have the perfect circle. Now, making circles in Grab is a little bit difficult, so I'm going to show you. Now, a very easy way to do this, I almost just backed into my way. Now, an easy way to do this is you just want to grab one block like this, and then turn your position snap to 15. When you grab the block, you copy it, and then you move it over here. I already have it over there because I don't want to waste my time. So you just move it over there, and you have to do some troubleshooting. Like, if you do this, and then copy it, then it's a little too far away. So if it's too far away, push it in. And you just keep doing that until you get the perfect circle. Now, if you get the things correct, then all you have to do is group them, and then just start copying them until you get the perfect circle. There you have it. That is the perfect circle. Let's get on to the fourth tip. Now, the fourth tip is how to make your grapple blocks look better. So if you're making like some lava grapple block type level where you have to do some tight... Now, if you're doing some like lava grapple level where you have to just grapple the whole time, like kind of like skills only, you don't want there just to be a normal plain old grapple block. If you want to step it up, then all you have to do is just put the grapple block inside of a normal block and it'll still work completely normal. Now for the next tip, if you want to do that but you don't want people grabbing onto it, all you have to use is a lava grapple block, and if you jump onto it, you won't die. It'll still work the same, but you just cannot grab on it. Now, making text is probably one of the most important things about a level. A lot of people make their text way too thick. So you just want to make this text, but thin it down. And when you thin it down, it'll look a lot better. This doesn't look good, but it's alright. Now, I have an example right here. I thinned it down and added some like cool things on the sides. So if you want your letters or your text to look better, then just make it thinner and not humongous. Now, adding shadow on your text can also be a huge plus to your thumbnail. So all you have to do is copy your text and copy it, move it backwards to the side, any side's fine, and then move it down. If you don't move it down to the side or back, it'll start glitching. Then you just change the color, and boom, you got shadow. Now another thing, push your letters all the way in, because it looks so much better when you're trying to take a profile picture. Because if you do this, you can barely see you can barely see that this is a 0, because the back of the letter is in the way. But if you push it all the way in, you can easily see the 1 and the 0. Now another tip for the profile picture is, I like to call this the triangle method. Basically, you take some type of block, it can be a triangle or like a square or rectangle, and you move it diagonally. Then you put the letters on it. Then you get your camera out and then make it to where it looks like that is cut off from the other, and then it'll make it look very, very cool. And if you just take this picture, look right there, it looks really cool. It's a really cool effect. I use it all the time. I've used it for many of my levels. So if you want your thumbnails to look better, then the triangle method is what I recommend. Now going a little off topic here, we have the cloning machine. The cloning machine, you just step into it, and if you look from the outside, you'll look like there's 2 of you. Now, since I have no friends, I can't do that. So
it's been a year.
Anyways, the next tip is how to make your blocks look very bouncy. Some people do this, and a lot of people do not know how to do this. Basically, you want to add a frame at the top, and then it goes down, hits the bottom, and it goes up, down, and each frame is tinier and tinier, and then it just stays there. So, it'll look like this. Pretty cool. Anyways, let's just get on to the next tip. Alright, for the next tip is the working TV. I would explain it, but I already have a video on it, so if you really do want to make a working TV, go check it out. It's a good flipping video. Anyways, let's just get on to the next tip. Now, walls are very important in levels, and giving them the slightest detail can make them look so much better. So all you have to do is make these bricks, which is just taking rectangles, putting one on top and putting one to the side. And when you put them on, it makes the wall look so much more detailed than it used to be. Look at the wall. Look at the wall before. And look at the wall after. Oh my god, it's so beautiful! For the next tip is how to make teleporting blocks. Now, if you want to teleport around, then make this a grabbable block. So you can make it just a normal yellow one or wood like I have there. For this, the animation literally just sits there for how much time you want. Then you add a frame of it going wherever you want. Say you want to teleport to another place, that's where the next frame is. Then, since it's waiting 1 second, this frame will only take a millisecond. So 101. It arrives there in a millisecond, so it's like it wasn't even there. Now, if you want it going back, you don't have to put a frame there because it'll just automatically teleport back. So, here you have it, teleporting block. Oh, hold on, I made a little oopsie in the animation. Once it's there, you want to make it like wait another second, so 2 seconds, and boom, there's a teleporting block. The next step is how to make your signs look a lot better. Now, a lot of people know if you put a color block right on a sign, and if you get it close enough, the letters will still stick out. But this right here looks a little bland. So if you want to add some details, you can add like these lines, you can highlight the letters, and do whatever else you want. Now, their next tip is mainly for horror levels. If you want a custom monster and not just some lava blob monster, then all you have to do is just make this lava animation. Basically, how you want to do this is you want to add the frame twice, so it's just doing nothing. You're just pressing the A button twice or pressing add frame twice. Then it moves up above the head. Then it goes back to the original frame. Now, make all these frames 0 seconds, and then crank it up to 1000%. Now, exit, and boom, you have this really cool lava animation. Now, if you group the monster with the lava, you cannot put the lava under it, or the effect won't work. But what you can do is put a roof over the head, so you can't see the lava up there. So all you're seeing is this just layer of lava, but if I touch anywhere, not even the bottom, I will still die. Now for the next tip, if you take some glass right here, since you can make any block glass by turning it neon, then turning it again, you can make some really cool stuff. what I made here is all you have to do is copy a glass block, put it under, and just keep copying it until you run out of glass. And it makes this really, really cool effect. Also, bonus tip, if you have a block on the other side of this tinted glass, you can barely see it, and if you have enough, you can't see it at all. But no matter how many layers of glass you put, you will always be able to see the letters on a sign. I don't know, I thought this was pretty cool. Anyways, let's just get on to the next actual tip. Next tip is how to make your doorways or just walls in general look a lot better. I do this really cool trick. If you take any wall and copy how tall it is, then you just add these little layers that keep getting smaller and smaller, and then it'll have two of the same width. It'll make this really cool design that's really easy to make and actually looks very good. The next tip is how to make your signs look better. Now, a normal sign looks good and all, but it's just getting old. You gotta add some spice to it. Now, what I did to this sign is I took a normal sign and then added this little wooden staff right there. And when you do that, it makes it look like the sign is really tall, and you can add this little thing on top and these chains. So it makes it just look so much better. This next tip is how to make an actual teleporter. Now, this block looks like a normal block, but if you step on it, it teleports you over here. Probably could have seen this because it sticks out a little bit, but there's a special block right here with a very special animation. Except there's a little extra step. It's the same thing for the lava. You want to add 2 of the same frame, just doing nothing. So press the add frame twice. And then it moves wherever you want it to teleport, but it's a little bit underground so you can't see it. So you add that frame and then add the original frame. Make this all 0 seconds and then crank it up to 1,000. Now, it is like the teleporter over there, but if you step on it, it keeps you right here instead of going back and forth. Also, I literally forgot to mention how the teleporter works. It's literally just this, except it doesn't go underground. Anyways, you can make some really cool stuff like this cool teleporter thing. And if you step on it, it teleports you back, so you're infinitely going through it. Oh, please! Alright, this next tip is not an editor tip, but mostly a tip how to make you better at the game. If you close your left hand and jump with your right, it'll give you a little extra boost. If you don't know how to do this, walk normally with your right hand, but then close your left hand and try to walk. Also, you can't do this more than once. If I jump once and I keep it closed, I can't go again. This can make it a lot easier to jump higher and farther. Now for the next tip, we have the jetpack. It's mostly called the jetpack because if you jump into it and put your hand in it, you levitate. This works by putting a gravity block that's going up inside a normal block. Now you can make some really cool stuff with this, like this little parkour course, kind of like Geometry Dash. And you just have to put your arm in and take it out. If you keep your arm in too long, it'll take you all the way up into that lava, but if you don't do it enough, it'll put you in that lava. Now, to get faster on ice, you want to do this really cool method. Basically, it's instead of doing back and forth like you're walking on ice, you want to do arm circles. So you walk, but then you do a circle with your arm, and then after you're finished with that circle, you do it with your other arm. And it's just constant, and you go insanely fast! Now this next tip, if you hold both your controllers down while there's an air block, you will not move at all. So I have this tornado for demonstration. So if I keep my controllers holding on and the tornado gets here, it will not move me up at all. But if I let go, it picks me up all the way up here. Another thing you can do with fling gravity blocks, basically how to do fling, you just change the mode. Anyways, a cool thing you can do with fling is these really cool mini games. You can make like a cornhole where you throw yourself into one of these holes. You can make a basketball where you just throw yourself into the hoop. Or you can make a mini golf where you just throw yourself on the course and try to get into the hole. Now this next tip is for your menu. A lot of people, and especially new people, don't know how to use their rotation snap and their position snap. What this basically means is, if I put the position snap to 0, then it can move freely wherever it wants. But if I turn it up a little bit, it snaps as I move it. Now the rotation snap is just how you rotate it. If I put it at 90, then I'll move 90 degrees each time. But if I put it at like 0, it'll move freely. Now, a really good position snap to rotation snap is 90 rotation snap and 0 position snap. This is shown right here. So if you just put this one all the way down and put this one all the way up. This makes it to where it's a lot easier to make walls and make them straight. And also, if you turn it to 0 and 0, so turn both these all the way down, you can move it freely however you want. This is really useful if you just want to copy some random things for some reason. The next step is how to use the new feature, the diffuse button. Basically, the diffuse button can make any block you want shiny. Now, a lot of people don't know how to use this, which makes sense because it is kind of a complicated tool. So let's say you want a shiny block like this. You want to turn the normal color just to gray and then go to diffuse. This basically means what you want the shine color to look like. So if I put it to white, then the shine will be white. But if I put it to yellow, then the shine will be more of a gold. Now, to make it shine more, you just turn this shininess all the way down. Now, I feel like that doesn't really make sense because if you put it all the way up, I would feel like the shininess would be even more intense. But I guess not. So you just want to turn it all the way down if you want the best shininess. And yeah, that's how you use the new feature. Then the next thing is how to make good rocks for your rock climbing maps. Now, you don't want to just use random wood blocks on your rock climbing maps. It doesn't look good. It looks newbie. Now, to make this look better, all you have to do is put a wood block inside of a color block, and then now you have a good looking rock. Then you can group this and put it wherever you want on the rock climbing map. Then the next tip is how to make really cool looking mountains. Now, this is a very interesting looking one. It just uses cylinders. No one really does this. I got this from my little brother from his Call It Poseidon level. I put it on screen. Basically, if you just copy all of these cylinders and make it like smaller or like on the edge and it's like hanging over, it makes this really cool looking mountain. I thought this was really cool, and like the last tip, you can do moss by just putting cylinders right on it. It'll look a little weird, but it's a really cool way to make your rock climbing map. Now, how to make a cool fish tank. Now, since I added glass, you can make some really cool fish tanks, but it's a little annoying because there's no bubbles. Or is there? You see, if you have a gravity block and you put it in there, it'll make these realistic looking bubbles. So it'll make a really cool looking fish tank. And that is my favorite fishy because he has my cheese hat and my colors. Now, a really confusing thing for animation, a lot of people get confused with this. I don't know why. It's timed animations. For timed animations, like this one, once it gets over there, it punches that one out of the way. This thing takes 1 second to get over here. So, basically, this one thing is waiting 1 second in the same spot. But once it hits 1 second, you add another frame of it going somewhere. So it goes all the way over here since it's getting punched out. And that is how you make timed animations. This is a really easy one, but it gets a lot more complicated. And if you really want a video on complicated timed animations, put it down in the comments. Anyways, let's just get on to the next step. Next step is a little off topic, but it's how to make good palm trees. Now you want to turn your position snap to 0, 0, like I said earlier, and make a cool looking trunk. By doing this, you just keep copying these cylinders and keep making them smaller and smaller. Once you do this, you have to make these leaves. To make these leaves, you just get this little triangle right here. You might want to elongate it a little bit and then push it down. Then you want to make a copy of it and add it like this. Once you do this, you can group it. Or once you do this, you can make it green, group it, and then add 4 little corners. And then add 4 sides, and then put it on the top. Size it up, put it on there. And then copy it again, and make it smaller, and then put it on the inside. And that is how you make a really cool looking palm tree. Now, if you look at my levels, you'll see quite a bit of tornado levels. And you might wonder, how do I make those tornadoes? It's really easy. All you have to do is take a sphere and make it a little bit longer. You want to do this so when you make the animation, you can tell when it moves. So I'm going to clear the frames here, turn it to 90, and then add a frame of it staying there, turn it over, then add a frame, turn it over, add a frame, turn it over, add a frame, and turn it over, add a frame. Now it's a perfect little circulation, and then you just copy this and keep making it smaller and make some really cool looking tornadoes. Now this one looks really bad because I animated it weird, but it should look like this. If it looks bad, I guess that's my fault. The next tip is how to make these cool little launchers. Basically, if you stand on this and don't touch anything, it'll launch you crazy far. Now how you do this, now this all comes down to the animation. Basically, it goes up really slow, and then at the last second, it goes really fast up there, which only takes like 10 milliseconds. Then it goes back down. Since it goes there so fast, it launches you out of the block. Now I'll do a little example just to make it look easier. So add a frame here, take it up, add a frame there, make it take like 3 seconds, then add a frame like all the way over here, and make it take 10 milliseconds. So 3:10. If that was 4, then it'd be 4:10. If that was 5, it would be 5:10. If that was 5:50, this would be 5:60. Anyways, I think you get the point. It gets there and then goes all the way back to its original spot, which takes however long it says. So here it is. It goes really fast over there, and comes back. So let's stand on it. And whee! Now this next tip is how to make these smooth animations. So it like slows down as it gets to the end and gains speed and slows down. Now again, if you can make this little chart, and what the flip? To do this, you make this little chart, which each frame, or you add a frame here, 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 and each frame takes longer and longer to get to, and then you close this off, and then you do it all the way back to the start. Now for the last frame, don't add it yourself, just go to the start and add it. And if you play this, it'll look smoother. You can also do this for going up and down. All you really have to do is just turn it over. Now this next tip is how to make a cool looking trampoline without a bouncy block. Basically what you want to do is just have this block do an animation of going up, down, up, and down, and it both just takes a millisecond, or just put it all the way to 1000% and it'll make it a lot easier. Then you get on it, and boom, you got an easy bouncy block that's a colored block. And if you grab onto it, you can jump higher. Now the next step is how to make perfect domes. Also, don't mind the skibbity sign. I was deleting it. Now, if you look at this dome, it's literally perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. And how to do this is just put your position snap to 0.125 and take this out. Now, don't change your size at all while you're doing this. You want this to be the same size as this. Then you just push it down onto it, and boom, there's your perfect dome. Now, you can also do this with 2D. It's literally the same thing, just with 2D things. There's not really anything different. You can just follow the same steps just with that. Now, if you look at this flashlight, it looks like it's actually working. I'll show you how to do this. Now, all you have to do is take a cone, make it yellow, and then make it transparent. Then take this cone again, turn it to default, and then turn it to white. Then make it neon, and then flatten it all the way, and put it at the end of the flashlight like I did here. Then you'll have this really cool looking flashlight. You can make it moving, you can make it for your horror levels, do whatever you want with it. The next step is how to make your trees look so much better. Now, a normal person would just use a cone and nothing else, and it'll look fine. But all you have to do is turn this cone upside down, flatten it a little bit, and then move it. And it just looks so much better. And for the trunk, instead of just having one thing standing still, you can add some little layers to it. So I'll add a layer to this, add a layer here, here, and here. And it just looks so much more detailed. It doesn't look as good as what I used to have, but it looks a lot better. Now for the next step, we have how to make colored lava. If you did not know, all you have to do is hover your controller over the lava, go to selection, and go to type, and then press it, and you can change it literally to whatever color you want. You can change it to red and white, or you can change it to literally whatever color you want. Normally, the first color stands out more, so if you want more red, then you can just make the red first color. Now, you can also make these lava blocks transparent, which is literally just pressing on default, and it'll say custom, and then just ignore all of this, and just make it transparent. And then no one can go through your glass fortress. The next thing I want to talk about is ambience. Some people get confused with ambience, and I really do not know why. If you want to make your ambience pitch black and literally just change everything to 0, and then turn your fog all the way up and you can barely see anything, and now you have a really creepy level. But if you don't want that, you can just reset the default. Now, if we go back to our shiny blocks over here, this part is not nearly as shiny as this because the sun is up there. Now we can change this by changing the size, which just affects how shiny it is. Then the altitude, which we want, like, let's just say right here. And then I don't know how to say that, but if you move it a little bit, then this side is shiny. But if we change the altitude, the top is shiny. That is how to use your ambience, so let's just get on to the next tip. Now, this is how to make rounded corners. It looks so much better if you had rounded corners than just like normal straight corners. All you have to do is change your rotation step to 15, then copy your line, rotate it 2 times, then just move it to where this matches up with this corner. Then move it down to where nothing's sticking out right here. And then you might want to size this down a little bit. Then just copy it, move it, rotate it twice, and then do literally the same thing, and then do whatever you want with it. And there you go, now you have rounded corners. Next tip is how to make randomized spawns. So if you look at the level, just trust me, bro, there is the spawn. The spawn can either take you to a platform that goes to the level, or that goes to the station, or whatever you call it. All you have to do is just put a little divider on this, and when you spawn, you can either spawn on this side, or on this side. Let's do a little example of this. Now, each time I respawn, I can either spawn on this side, or on this side. It's a really cool thing. It's a really cool method, and if you want to make those randomized type levels, this is what you do. Now, if you want to make a lighting effect for some reason, all you have to do is just copy like the circle going more out and out and out, and just make these colors from bright to darkest. So I just made circle, copied it, make it bigger, put it under, and then kept making it darker and darker and darker until I couldn't make it darker. This is a really cool effect, and if you're far away, it actually looks sick. Now, for the next step is how to add more detail using the colored lava. Now, if you add lava right here, it just looks so much cooler than if you just added like normal white or black pillars. This is a really cool method you can use, and I don't have enough glass, but what you can do is put a little glass barrier right here so you don't die every time you go in it. This is really useful to any of your showcase type builds. This next tip is all about the profile picture. Using a pitch black or a pitch white background is so much easier when you're making these profile pictures. If I use it here, you have to get such a specific angle, and it's so hard, and sometimes you can see different things, and the angles are just so hard to get. But if you use a pitch black or pitch white platform, there's no depth in the photo, so you can basically do whatever angle you want, and no matter how you do it, it looks good. Now, this next tip, I'm gonna have to go to one of my other levels. Now, when you make your profile pictures, if you want to make it look really good, then what you want to do is publish your level without a profile picture, publish that first, and then once you publish it, you can detail the start however you want it and make a sick profile picture. I did this for Storm Chasers too. Normally, if you spawn here, it's just a normal gas station, but I published it without a profile picture, then published it with then I remodeled everything to look really cool, like the gas station is getting torn apart and the truck is getting lifted off. And when I do this, it's just so much easier to make your profile picture, and you don't have to worry about hiding it underground or anything like that, and it's just so much easier. And for the 50th editor tip, we have subscribe! Anyways, my storage is getting low, so thank you guys for watching. If you watched till the end, please subscribe. Just please subscribe. I just want to get to 1,000, please. Just do it. It doesn't take anything out of you. Just turn the notifications off if you don't want notifications. Please subscribe.